Mike Bako is sports editor for the Daily National website, and I began by asking him what factors are used to determine the host city for a major sporting event.
Following along with the tradition of what city can host it, where the infrastructure is coming from, what city is willing to build in their infrastructure, resources, and certainly being the headquarters of Alibaba, the natural beauty of the venue and the city, this could really be a great showcase for them.
China is also hosting the Winter Olympic Games in 2022 and then the Asian Games. 52 venues will be used in Hangzhou, at least that's the plan. So what are the expectations in holding two major global sporting events in the same year?
Yeah, I think the expectations are to really shine a spotlight on the Olympic culture, the sporting culture, and in a way, the construction and the beauty of the architecture of some of these venues. You mentioned 52 different sports. When it comes to the Asian Games in Hangzhou, we're going to be looking at 34 Olympic-style sports and then another 18 other sports that follow along in the traditions of the Chinese sports and different traditional games. So we're really looking at a great showcase, not only for the nation, but for this venue and for the facilities that they're going to build. They already have the giant Lotus, the 80,000-seat stadium that's really become, a real selling point for the area. Certainly, you look at Beijing with the bird's nest that they were able to build there for the Olympics and to reuse for the Olympics, really becoming an architectural touchstone and something that everyone remembers. I'm sure that that's what they're hoping for with these games.
What kind of advantage do countries or cities have if they've already hosted a major event, an Olympics or something, a World Cup? Does that give them an advantage in being awarded a major event?
I think you can look at it two ways. One is they already have the infrastructure in place. They've already shown that they know how to do an event like this. Certainly from a media standpoint, a lot of this is about TV rights, coverage, so they have that infrastructure. Now, the other way to look at it is also as a selling point for branding for a specific city or a nation that wants to go after these games. How do they put themselves on the map? How many people thought of Sochi as a destination for sporting and for Olympic events until they hosted the Winter Games? So, you really have to look at it from two folds, but I certainly think that any city that has the infrastructure that's shown that they could host an event like this to a great deal of success, they're going to be on a higher priority list when it comes to being awarded an Asian Games or an Olympic Games from a summer or a winter standpoint.
We also just saw the debut of eSports in the recent Asian Games in Indonesia. Could we see that added as a medaled event?
That's what a lot of people are looking for. That's what a lot of people are hoping for now. It's interesting to point to the upcoming Olympics. They were thinking about having the eSports as an Olympic sport, a medal sport, but that didn't actually come to pass. So what you may be looking at, and certainly we're a few years off for these Asian Games, growing in popularity, that's no doubt about it in terms of, esports. You're certainly seeing it here in the U.S. where they're selling out arenas. That could really be the touchstone sport that brings more attention to the Asian Games on a global level and an international level if they do put that in as one of the forefront sports, as you mentioned, and as we were discussing, one of those 18 other events that they're going to have in there. I think there's a good possibility for that just from a pure branding standpoint and an interest standpoint, and by that time, it's really going to become part of the culture for so many people.